Call to order the regular Town Commission meeting of October the 10th, 2023. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Mayor Tom Peck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Campo. Here. Commissioner Fender.
Here.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes. Here.
Okay, first up this evening is Premier Realty, 34th Annual Halloween Event, and Ms. Casey Hack will provide us with a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody, or evening at this point. So I am Casey from Premier Realty Group. I am the VP of Marketing, and I'd just like to tell you guys a little bit about the events that are happening this year. Each year, we do the Sewalls Point Halloween for the town. This year, we're doing it a little bit different. We're still doing a costume contest, but it's going to be for pets. And the prize is going to be 252 magnolias, and they are sponsoring that for us, which is amazing. And everybody should have gotten these flyers in the mail, and it has a QR code where they can just submit their photos. So it's super easy. And we're also doing a house decoration contest, and they can also submit a photo of their house. The prize will be a tequila tasting in-home for 6, plus some treats. The QR code is also in the flyer. And if anybody did not receive their flyer in the mail, they can stop by our office or in the town center, and they can pick up one. A reminder to the residents to display the orange ribbon on their mailboxes this year to say that they are open to trick-or-treaters. The big thing that we're doing this year is going to be our trunk or treat. So that's going to be on October 26th from 5:30 to 7. And we're going to have some vendors, some premier agents. We're going to decorate our trunks, and we're going to have them out there handing out candy to the kids. It's great. We're trying to get the kids really riled up so they can drag their parents there instead of the other way around. And if there's any vendors that are listening or are interested, we definitely would like them from Sewalls Point to come and join us. We've already got a few that are joining us now. But yeah, so we're doing Halloween a little bit different this year. We're hoping to get a lot of engagement. We've already had some pets and some houses submitted to the contest, so we're excited. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's great that you guys do this. I think everyone likes it.
Great, thank you.
Okay, do we have any public comment cards?
No, sir.
Apparently not. Any additions, deletions, or changes to the agenda?
Yes, I wanted to, oh wait, maybe this goes to the, the consent agenda. I wanted to pull out the calendar, but that's the consent.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Campo. Aye. Commissioner Fender.
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes,
Mayor Tom Peck.
Yes. Now we come to the consent agenda.
sorry. Yes, I'd like to pull out the calendar. And then I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda with just the minutes.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Campo. Aye. Commissioner Fender.
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield.
Yes.
Mayor Tom Peck.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman.
Yes.
Okay, if you guys look at the calendar, December, we usually do one meeting plus the second meeting's on Christmas Eve, and I don't think anyone wants to do that.
Oh, come on.
And the Thanksgiving one is the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I know there's a lot of people that go away, so I think those two need a little attention.
Yeah, I won't be here that day.
I personally like the one meeting in December. I don't know if my fellow commissioners do, unless there's something necessary.
Yeah, I think one meeting in December is fine, unless...
I'll make a motion to have just one meeting in December,
I'll second it.
And why don't we make it,
10th?
you want to do it on the 17th, you want to do it on the 10th?
Oh,
The 10th.
Okay, we'll do it on the 10th. One meeting in December on the 10th.
Yes, did you want to address the November meeting?
and I would also suggest we have just one meeting in November on the 12th. That's part of my motion, unless they need to be two separate motions.
No.
No? Okay.
Yep.
All right, so is there any other changes you want to make, Commissioner?
No, I think that's good. If you guys are okay with one in each month,
So
unless we
my
need it.
motion really is just to cancel the two meetings,
Yeah.
November 26th and December 24th.
I'll second that, did I? You changed the motion?
It's the same motion, it's
Okay.
just different worded.
Okay.
Please call the roll.
Commissioner Fender,
Aye.
Commissioner Mayfield,
Yes.
Mayor Tompeck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kurzman,
Yes.
Commissioner Campo.
And that's so far away that things happen, and we probably wind up rescheduling a couple of meetings anyway. It's the way it usually works.
Sure.
Okay. I think that brings us to, we have no public hearings for ordinance, first or second reading, no resolutions, no old business. That brings us to new business, which is the approval of the town manager performance goals. And I guess I'm going to start out with this one. I went back and tried to update the goals based on the discussions that we had at the last meeting. And now I think there was, Commissioner Fender, I think there was one goal that you mentioned that my chicken scratch, I couldn't decipher my chicken scratch on.
I think I just wanted to ensure that as part of the goals list, that we include community involvement and the continued fostering of the traditions we have in town, because those are a lot of work, and the chief gets burdened with a lot of it, and certainly town manager's very involved and drives it. But I think from a leadership perspective, whoever does it gets driven from the top down from leadership, and I would say that if we didn't have those community involvement initiatives, which we had a great one last weekend, and I was late to, but that it would be detrimental. So the things that we've done every year for years and years should be continued to foster, and that's July 4th, Easter, Christmas. We've done some things every year that most of the town really engages in, and it gets away from government and more into community development. I think that's a loft, that's something that should be part of that goal structure.
And I think, I agree with you, but I'm wondering if maybe that's a kind of a soft skill goal that's included in the evaluation, rather than something that I have trouble, I know if it's not working or if it's working well, but I have trouble measuring it, kind of thing.
However you want to include it, I just want to make sure
So-
it's part of the plan.
Can we go back, Mr. Daniels, and make sure there's something in the for community involvement in the form that we all fill out? I'm pretty sure there is. I'm pretty sure there's some information in there.
You're talking about the evaluation form?
Yeah, the evaluation.
Maybe you could just make it more specific,
Yep.
the events, and lay them out, as opposed to just community involvement, which is
Yeah.
a broader.
Well, I think if like the tree day, and, we've talked about other things that we can do. Again, I don't want to overtax the police department, because everything ends up, if we done it, I found that if we want it done right, we have to make sure that we have, obviously, the chief's involvement, but her staff, and
My point is that it starts with you, and
Right.
however you decide to do it, whether it's the chief or somebody else, matters not to me. She does a great job, and thank God for her.
I agree.
Okay, so we have the list there. I think we added some based on the discussions we had last week. There was, Bob Mr. Daniels has come to me and talked to me specifically about two of the goals. One is the disposition of the town property at 78 South Sewalls Point Road. And the question came up about whether we would sell that property before we develop the STA. And I don't know if there's anything that prevents us from selling the property before the STA is developed or not. And I was just wondering how you felt about that. See, the way I look at it, that's a carrying cost that we have. We're paying, well, we're not getting, obviously, tax revenue from it. We're paying maintenance on the pool and probably some other things that I'm not aware of. So it'd be, and we're paying interest, on our debt. So it'd be nice to be able to sell that property and retire the loan and get rid of our carrying cost. And I wasn't sure if there was anything that prevented us from doing that before the STA is developed or not. So that's really the question that I wanted to bring to the commission and see what you folks thought about that.
Can I address that first, if
Why
you
not?
don't mind? I think the direction that I've received is that we wanted to maximize our profit on the house. And to do that, is, obviously not to have a construction site around your house if we sold it. So I've also talked to our town engineer and and our building official, and it's really hard to come in and do that work that needs to be done, primarily the STA and then putting in the weir and the outfall line while the home is occupied. It's really going to be inconvenient. Now, I work at, your direction, so if we have to weigh, I understand, the indebtedness that we have on the property versus, maximizing our profit. So, if the commission feels and they give direction to me that, hey, look at it both ways, or, let's entertain anything that we get in, and then you all can make that determining factor, I'm great to live with that. I don't have a proverbial dog in the fight, so to speak. Not that I like dog fighting, but.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yeah, just off the top of my head, one of the great things about purchasing that property was the ability to do the STA without having to deal with having the freedom to get it done right and not have that. We've had obstacles before with our construction, so I would think we would wait till it was, construction was done, or the STA was done or whatever, but that is all the more reason to try to go very fast with or keep moving with the construction of Phase 3. And I'm told that's happening soon, correct?
Yes, I'm pushing to get the bids out again, and we ran into a little bit of a snag with some changed requirements that DEP has, and that's what we're working through right now.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with, if that's, if that's the way everybody feels, that's fine with me. I don't want to make a, goal that's not, can't achieve that goal. I'd like to check with Joe and find out, where in the construction schedule, the construction of the STA is in terms of the overall work. And if it's in the early part of the work, you still may be able to do this, but we'll,
That's what we talked about, Mayor. My conversations with Joe is let's get that done as soon as we start construction, and let's build that out. He is going to be here tonight. I know he had a late meeting. I was there at it, and they were still going when I left, so trying to deal with this DEP issue that we talked about, so.
okay. I guess, and the second one was the, and we can leave the goal in there, but not necessarily punish you but not make it no credit or whatever, okay? But it's just something out there that, we think, we want to
Believe me,
get.
I'm pushing, so.
I got you. Okay, and then the other one that I think you had maybe a little bit of problem was the septic to sewer 50 connections, but.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, I was talking about the.
Oh, the 78?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think, what we're trying to do is, obviously the, commission is in agreement to get as many people hooked up on sewer as possible, and that, I think the last time we talked about it, Joe said something to the effect that connections could come as early as March or thereabouts.
Probably April.
Okay. So 50 is I think it's a good number. I mean, there's going to be a lot more people that'll be available to hook up. It's a target to shoot for.
That's
I
fine.
don't want these all big gimmies for you, for God's sakes,
Well, I just don't want to let you down either, at the same time. It's, Phase 3 has always been the big thing, but the septic to sewer falls right behind it, so.
Okay, the other item was, and this is really up to the commission, but I just did want to point it out. I went back and reviewed the May 24th, 22 meeting, which had the discussion about the yearly bonus based on performance being part of the baseline salary or not. And I think if you had a chance to look at that or listen to it, we didn't do I thought we had, agreement to, put it as a, I hate to use the word bonus, let's put incentive pay, because bonus makes the lawyers go crazy, okay? We don't like to talk about. Because you can't do it. Because we can't do it, that's right. So, and what I was, what we were concerned about is, you may recall, when we were talking about originally the salary for town manager, we got some feedback about, they didn't think that the town manager of Sewalls Point should be paid $140 or $150 or $160,000. And if we continue to compound this every year, we could get to that number quicker than you think. So, and I think the other downside is that, there may be some other financial impacts, and I'm not sure what they all are, but there are some benefits that are related to base salaries, such as deferred compensation. I think there may be others, I'm not sure. Now, unfortunately, the wording in the town manager agreement did not reflect those discussions, and I should have caught that, but I didn't. So it's really up to the commission what you'd like to do. We can leave it exactly the way it is, but I want to make sure everybody understands the compounding effect this will have year to year. And if you think that we should do it as incentive pay, I'll work with Glenn and Susan and come up with some of the right words to revise the agreement. Commissioner Fender?
So I agree with the compounding concern. I think I brought it up then. I don't know how the wording came out, and shame on me also for not double-checking the editing, but my concern really is the purpose of the incentive is to incentivize, right? So in the context of this conversation we're having, it could be somewhat de-incentivizing. So I don't think this is a one-way conversation. I think this is a two-way conversation, and it's really, we have to, maybe it's not something that happens in the dais. Maybe it's, the mayor and the town manager get together and talk about what's appropriate and what does not de-incentivize the town manager according to what he considered his contract to be. And my main concern is that we have a great town manager. I really don't want to lose him, and I don't want to de-incentivize him. What I do foresee is if you stay on the path you're on and the compounding effect does take effect, that you will probably, just out of good financial stewardship, take away the bonus, right? We would be incentivized not to give much of a compounded bonus on an annual basis, which is not really what we want to do. We want to be able to give a incentive pay of some kind. So I'll let you guys work that out. That's my concern. But I absolutely want to make sure that Bob is incented and works hard for us and loves his job. So that's my real concern.
Vice Mayor Kurzman?
Yeah, sometimes even beyond the incentives, every time I'm here, the man's doing something, no matter what it is. One day I see him, he's over with the chief, a tree fell down. Another day there's a flooded property, he's there in his good shoes and nice clothes and a jacket, stepping in floodwater. It's constant, and I admire the efforts he puts in and the concerns that he puts in and day out. And sometimes I think it's more than he can handle. I feel we put a lot on him. Anytime there's something wrong, or, you give him a list of projects to do, plus we're trying to get money. What's going on in the town right now, residents that have issues, he's spending time with everybody and everything, and I think what we're doing is we're getting a man here that's putting in probably a 12-hour day in maybe 10 hours. And it's I don't know how far we could push without giving the man a heart attack sometimes. If you're sitting here at Town Hall and you're in there and I see him going all the time, I think he's asked everything that we've done, he's pretty much performed on, at least 99%. Maybe I'm wrong. If somebody disagrees, please let me know.
No, I don't think what we're talking about here is any kind of a negative assessment about the town manager. It's not a negative.
No, I'm trying to say is we were setting goals, but in other words, we got to be realistic on what we're asking. In other words, there's only so many hours in a day, and I think as long as he keeps on top of what we're asking, it's status quo, but I think we're getting 100% effort.
I'm not sure that's the issue. The issue is what's in the contract
And I think, once again, you're still going to get the incentive money. Okay, if we vote to say, okay, you did a great job here, you're going to get 5% of your salary as a bonus. You're still going to get the bonus, it's not going to be part of the base. So you get it as a one-time shot as opposed to spread over a year. Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes, I meant to look this up and I didn't have time. How many years is your current contract, town manager? 3. And this is probably a question for Susan. The way, and I don't know if you have the contract in front of you. Oh, okay. I was wondering, the way it is right now, what we added in about the bonus, that's not a bonus, does it have to be added to the salary, or is it currently just at our discretion to add to the salary or give as a one-time? Obviously, you have to read it and think about it.
I think the wording, when I reviewed it, sounded like it was added to the salary.
That's the way I,
It
that's the way I
sounded-
worded it.
yeah.
It's not the way I wanted it worded, but that's the way.
I mean, but I don't believe it actually says added to the, I think it just says at the discretion. I wanted a lawyer's interpretation.
If I may, you all don't have to do anything, okay, the way that it
Yeah.
is in the agreement. If you find that I have, I think it's above average or exemplary, I forget the exact phraseology that's used in their performance, then you can, if you choose to.
Right.
Give an incentive bonus.
No, that, yeah, and I knew that, I just
Not a
didn't,
bonus, but an incentive of.
I just didn't know.
Percentage.
The concern is it's a pay increase, and that's the problem.
And it maxes at 5%, so.
I just wanted to know legally, is it,
I don't have the,
okay,
the
that's all right.
previous contract, I only have the new.
I'm sorry.
Commissioner Fender?
My thought is it's both, right? You would get the standard cost of living increase that I would assume all staff gets. I thought that's what we agreed upon.
Yes.
And then in addition to that, this is the addition
Correct.
is what we're talking about, which we would assume would be an incentive pay, but not an incentive pay increase beyond the cost of living you're already getting, right? That's the concern, if that makes any sense.
My recollection of the previous contract was that the wording, it used the words increase in base or something like that. I think it referenced the base salary. To me, at the time, it was, that was what, it was.
What do you mean by
it really meant an increase in
previous contract?
the-
Or the new
in
contract? You said I thought there, I didn't know there was a, what do you mean by the
I've got
new
a
contract?
contract that's dated 2022. Is that the one we were looking at?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
If it was like July
Yeah.
or August.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot here to do legal
Again,
interpretation.
I'm not sure we have to solve this right now.
No, we don't.
I thought it was kind of
but
relevant to my thought process here.
Just so you know,
What
too,
exactly?
back in May, though, I wasn't even a thought here.
Yeah.
Okay? So, when this came up, it was a complete surprise to me because I wasn't privy to that discussion that the commission had. And to be quite honest with you, I was a little bit taken back with it, because it is, kind of, well,
Yeah.
don't work as hard as you're working.
Right.
So we don't have to give you this raise.
That's-
And to me, that's counterproductive to the type of person I am.
I agree.
So,
Okay, so I just was trying to figure out what our, we added it to the salary before, which I did not think, I thought he came in low. I said this before, I've always thought 120,000 was the right pay for this job for Sewalls Point right now, given everything we have going on.
and I came in at 110.
Correct. But yes, that can be discussed. I actually wanted to say, back to your goals real quick, I wanted to add this, Mayor. For the subject to sewer 50 connections fourth quarter, maybe we could add on pursuit of grants for the rest, if we're going to do it. I mean, that's a major thing that we were trying to get the whole system done or whatever, and it requires money, since we don't want to raise the cost to the residents. And then also maybe for the disposition of town property, maybe we could make it pursuit of disposition of town property. And then I also wanted to say thank you, Mayor, for pointing out the marks on the, on your video, or on the video. I went back and watched it. I went back and listened.
You wouldn't watch that whole thing, I'm sure.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did go to those points, so thank you.
Got the
Okay,
language
and
document.
the pursuit was for both of those?
No, just for the disposition of town property. The subject to sewer seems like, in theory, it could be reasonable, and then you add on, and the grant, add on getting the grant.
I got it.
You have the,
I have the increase language now. So, in reference to subject to receiving a satisfactory or higher annual performance evaluation, the manager shall receive, effective the succeeding October 1st, a percentage increase in base salary equivalent to the percentage base salary increase as determined by the town commission, provided to other general non-police town employees. That's Part C. Part D, at the discretion of the town commission, an additional increase of up to 5% may be awarded for outstanding performance. So I read that as an increase to the base.
Yeah.
when it's
Okay,
written.
that's
And
that word
that's-
increase.
That's
Okay.
what we did last time. With your concurrence, I can, do we agree that we'd like to have the incentive pay is separate from the base, or not? Commissioner Campo?
Yeah, I know we're going to talk about the town charter later, but to your point, Commissioner Fender, our office of mayor is really just a presiding officer over the town meetings. There's not a super commissioner. We're all one of 5. I don't like the idea of having the mayor negotiating deals, whether it be this mayor or when I was mayor or whatever else. Our charter isn't set up that way. So the second thing is Bob Daniels worth 10% or 20% more than he was last year when you measure the learning curve that he's gone through? I mean, we're about to tear this town roadway apart. If anything, I think we ought to talk about extending that contract now, and then we can, work out this base salary or something like that. This issue is going to come up in 2 years. You want to kick it down the road, it's going to come up in 2 years because you're going to have to renegotiate the contract. I think we need to, send a clear signal that we are thrilled with his performance. And, there's a saying in baseball, the tie goes to the runner. Well, the tie goes to the town manager in this position because, like Commissioner Kurzman said, he's the best we've had. And, if there's any doubt, I think he deserves that extra consideration, especially on the verge of what we're about to undertake. So,
I think we sent a very clear message here when we gave them the maximum of the 5% plus what the town employees got. So we gave them the maximum of what we could have, so I think we sent a clear message that we think he's doing a great job. In terms of the first time you brought up, I don't have any problem if you would like to work with the attorney.
Yeah.
Because the, whatever wording we come up with has to come back as part of the town manager agreement anyway, so you're going to see. It's not like we're playing something behind your back or something.
no, I'm just saying that it's good to clarify what the role of the mayor is and what the mayor is not. It's got nothing to do with John Tompeck we've all been mayors, but hopefully you'll be mayor soon. But
I'll go along.
I think it's good protocol to stay within, what the town charter says about, our positions. So, I'm happy to help in any way possible. I'm not trying to power grab. I'm just saying that we need to make sure that we're not going outside of, what our authority and setup is. But the most important thing is, it's not just the raise, it's the attaboy, praise in front of God and everyone of the performance. So, the fact that we're keep talking about this, I feel like we're stepping in bubble gum and then taking it off our shoe and it's in our hair and everything else. We need to say, you're the best. We're going to give you the best. Go for it. And then we'll talk about clarifying this issue in 2 years actually 1 year and 10 months. We'll be talking about this again. So.
Commissioner Fender?
Just to respond, my implication was not anything about a super commissioner. My point was, I don't think we need to figure out what's going to incent him the most on the dais. I think I was pretty clear that we're pretty happy with him, and we have given him the most, but I'm fine if you do it. I don't care who does it. I just know that I didn't want to do it, and I want to make sure he's comfortable with it, because I agree with you. I think this conversation is not
Just have
incentivizing.
too little
right?
to discuss
Yeah,
tonight, so
yeah.
this is going to end up spending 45 minutes on
Yeah.
something that's really nothing.
I agree.
Commissioner Mayfield?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify to the mayor, because you were talking about potentially bringing, the contract back to be revised, and I already said this before, but I think it was important to get his base salary, and I mean the salary, and all this good stuff that goes along with it, in between the $120,000 to $30,000 range in the short term to show that, yes, we acknowledge he came on low, he's been doing a great job, and then kind of jump to the maybe loftier goals and incentives with that. That was kind of how I was going, and that's why I asked when the contract was getting renewed, because it isn't really that far off, and I think his salary now is probably at like 118, 117, what is it?
I think it's going to be close to 120 right now.
Okay, okay.
I haven't sat down and calculated out. It's because the employees got 5% and the commission gave me 5%. So it's
Okay, so I would-
$1,100. So yeah, it should be about 121.
If you wanted, to bring it back to revise it, I'm comfortable with just not revising the contract until there's another reason to, or what,
Vice Mayor Kurzman.
Yeah, I'm going to go back on where James was touching, and, as long as he's doing what he's supposed to do and giving us 110%, which he has, and once again, the other day, I asked for a meeting, 7 o'clock at night. He stood here and didn't get home till God knows what hour it was. He's puts the town first before his family and everything. That's what I see. And if he's giving us 110% day in and day out, if he doesn't do that, then we don't give the 5%. Why don't we look at it that way? I just can't see, and, I want to see him here for many years to come until he's ready to retire. I don't want to lose this man, and I feel that wholeheartedly. I don't think we're going to get another guy like him up here again. The odds are very high. We went through hell to find a town manager. In the past, we might have settled, and just, how many mistakes were made by predecessors, and the man's made minimal mistakes, and he's owned up to everything. I just continue, I'd rather continue to give the percentage, and if somebody has a problem with it, you know what? I'll take up for this man any day, because I've seen what he's done for us, and I don't want to lose him. And like James said, he's undertaking all these projects, trying to get us money, and I have a hard time, if anything, I wouldn't mind extending him either. I agree with that. I don't want to put up goals that may not be unobtainable. If they're obtainable, he will obtain them. I know him as a town manager, and I feel 110% confident that he'll obtain anything we ask him to. He's shown me time and time again, and
Commissioner Fender?
I was just going to say, I agree with Commissioner Mayfield, but my point isn't that we shouldn't have given him the full amount last week. By the way, this is not my issue. I'm just telling you, I think I understand where the mayor's coming from, nor that we will this way. But my concern is 5 years from now, right? We're all for getting to the range where you described. The question is what happens when you get there is the issue. And so I think we're probably we're trying to be a little strategic 5 years from now, not 1 year from now. Right? That's the only issue that's at hand. And maybe we can fix it with like you said, contract renewal when the contract renewal comes up.
That's actually a pretty good idea. We can leave it the way it is right now and then revisit the subject when we, maybe another 6 months when we want to extend the contract past and write it in.
That sounds fair.
Because by that time, the salary should be where we think it should have been anyway.
Okay.
So let's
sounds-
do that.
That sounds fair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item is the, let's see, charter review, town manager.
Yes, I had this premonition that we were going to be dealing with the Charter Review Committee as one of my goals, so, which we had discussed. So I thought it was best to kind of kick it off, and with some suggestions. I've been in communities where we've done the charter reviews, and to be quite honest with you, they can become over-encompassing. So I think by kind of laying it out and making sure that I'm on the same wavelength that you are, but I've kind of envisioned this as being a process of 4 or 5 residents, including myself, if that's okay with you, because I think I need to work hand in hand, having knowledge of a lot of charters with them, and be there as a guiding force to help them get through the workload. You can't get bogged down, and will have a deadline. The election is obviously November of 2024, and usually you back up roughly about 6 months to make sure that, the language is all worked out through the attorney's office and so forth. So what I'm kind of envisioning, if you all prefer to appoint somebody for that, or if you want me to recruit, either way, I'm okay with it. Just as long as, we can sit down and, meet, probably starting out, because we have the holidays, but meeting once or twice before we get into the holiday season, and then after we come back, really work hard January, February, and have a final product for you all in March is kind of a timetable I'm looking at. So again, I just wanted to give you something to think about. You don't have to make that decision tonight. You can, do that as feedback, and you can let me know next meeting or whenever. But I just think it's important to have a game plan and then kind of stick with that the best we can.
And I agree with that. I've been involved in a charter review before, and it wasn't particularly pleasant. When was the last charter review that we did? Do you have,
I asked
anybody
that
have any
question.
idea?
We never were able to come up with a date.
2006.
2006, okay.
I'm sorry, that's right, you did find that.
And this is
Our master clerk.
This might be a.
That's right.
This might be a question for Susan. Are there any other requirements for a charter review other than what's in Article 3, Section 4? It really says, no, I'll read it to you because it's very short. Town Commission shall meet at least once every decade to consider whether amendment of the charter would be in the best interest of the town. The Town Commission may appoint a charter review board of residents to advise the Town Commission on such charter amendment. The commission shall submit to the electors proposed amendments of the charter in manner in accordance with state laws. And I'm wondering if there's something we don't know about charter reviews that's not in here that we should know about from a state standpoint.
I'm a little hesitant to try to answer that sitting right here. I mean, that is what the law says, but of course, there's a lot of interpretation of that law that goes along with it in terms of legal issues that have come up. So I think there is more to the story than exactly.
I'd like to make sure we have all the details, and I think we probably need a drop-dead date from the election people to know when they have to have the amendments in their hand.
Yes.
Is the voting on the amendment strictly a majority? Because in some cases, it's like 60% or,
I think it depends on the subject matter of the type of amendment.
okay. That's something we probably want to know as well. I have a few more questions, but let's have Mr. Campo.
Yes, the reason that the election date, November 2024, is significant is because if there are changes, it will have to be on the ballot. What if there are no changes? Does that need to be reaffirmed? Susan?
I would probably recommend.
And the other thing
I'm
is, I'm
sorry.
sorry, before I forget, sorry.
No, that's okay.
I would have liked to have had a copy of the charter for this item rather than digging through it, so maybe you could send it
Okay.
out to us tomorrow.
Yeah, this was just more for discussion, and then I was going to have a packet together for y'all. that
I mean,
you
the
could go through.
comprehensive plan rewrite was so fun, you know?
I want to make this fun for the folks that are on the committee and the commission. So I just wanted to say my recommendation would probably be, since it is spelled out in our charter the way that it is, I think if I would like to take the liberty, if there are no revisions that are necessary, to do a resolution and have you all adopt that by resolution, so everybody knows that it just wasn't the manager making a decision, there weren't any changes, it was an action by the commission. I'm sure that doesn't hurt anything, right?
No, that makes sense to me.
So what's the answer to the question, Susan? My question was, if there are no changes, does it need to be on the ballot?
No.
I always like to get the lawyer to,
Oh,
you know,
sorry.
speak into the mic so we can have that for E&O purposes. Just kidding.
Commissioner Mayfield.
I was just going to say, this is very minor, but the town manager, when you give us a copy of the charter, if you could, I looked it up in Muni Code, and there's just a lot of stuff that's not relevant, and go look at the state. I don't know, if you could highlight it or somehow,
Yes.
if possible, make it easy to read.
And there's some items that I think need to be addressed, but I'll let you all make that determination.
Now, I was trying to figure out, as I looked at the charter last night, does it really only include Articles 1 through 9? Is that the charter, or is it, it doesn't include all the ordinances or all the other stuff?
No,
It's just the,
that
The
beginning
charter.
part.
just, okay.
There's not that much.
It's like 2 pages.
Yeah, not much.
The
Well,
other
it's
thing
well
is, that the way I understand it is once the Charter Review Committee, or whatever it's called, comes up with some recommendation, it comes back to the town commission,
Yes,
and we have to vote yea or nay to put it on the ballot?
correct.
Okay. So I think, it might be a good idea, Mr. Daniels, if you put together a little timeline so we figure out
Okay,
where we have to be and when we have to be there.
sounds good. Yeah, I
And
will.
it might not be a bad idea to include 7 people instead of 5, because, these citizens committee people kind of go in and out a little bit.
I just didn't know how much interest there'd be from the community, so,
I don't know. I would think that this might be something that would interest them, but I may be wrong.
It's very sadistic.
The one-time thing is a better sell than the continuous commitment to a board. You know what I mean? This is a short-term,
Ad hoc.
yeah.
Once every 26 years, right?
Commissioner Fender?
I was just going to say that I believe I was here 10 years ago, or in 2016, when we did this previously. I thought you were as well.
No, it's been, how long, Susan, since it was done?
2006.
Well, 2006 was when it was done, and then 10 years passed, and it came up for discussion on whether we would do it again, and I was here for that discussion. And the decision was made to, we're pretty happy with it, let's let it roll, and the decision was made not to make a change. And I'm okay with whichever way we go. I'm just saying that we've been here before, and it is pretty simple, and, the charter is crisp, like you said. I'm not sure I would personally be in favor of making change just for the sake of change, but we should review it, which is what I believe the spirit of this process is for, is to do the review, and in that review process, decide perhaps, maybe, that, it's been serving you well, so.
Well, when the city of Stewart did, just to know the Pandora's box, they've got Campenny's term limits. They've got a requirement that people live in the town for a year before they run for office.
Yeah.
And again, going back to disclosure form 6, we're going to get a smaller and smaller pool,
Yeah.
with all of these things. So,
Oh, I'm not
just-
opposed to it,
yeah,
don't get me
just,
wrong.
be
Yeah.
careful what you wish for with this whole thing.
Yeah,
And once again, though,
That's right.
any recommendations have to be approved by the town commission, so.
that is correct.
Not too bad. Okay, any other questions, comments? You understand what we like
I
you to
got
do?
your direction.
Okay. All right, I think that brings us up to staff comments.
You want me to chime in? All right.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Mayfield, you have something?
Oh, no, I was getting ahead of the game for commissioner comment.
Okay.
Sorry. Just to bring everybody up to date, hopefully, I think we've had a very informative day on our tree day, and we hope to have that more in line with Arbor Day. And so, that's usually the last Friday of April. So we just need to work on those dates a little bit, with some of the other things that we have going on in the town. But we did get some real good feedback, and I think it's a start, and we can work from that, and hopefully it'll rise to one of those events that we do have. The next meeting will have the heritage property information and listing that'll be in before you. As I mentioned, on the grant side, I'll also have the report on the grants, but just to give you an idea, we do have 3 outstanding grants right now that we're working on. One's to help with, actually 4, the one's to help with Phase 2, on the expenditures, Phase 3 for DEP, and the septic to sewer in case we need additional funding with the gravity aspect of it, using the gravity lines and rehabilitating those lines. Again, that one's more of a backup, and then the other one was River Road. So, we've known that those costs have gone up from what we originally had planned. So we're checking on those all the time. It's, again, it's a process, but it's quite discerning the changes that are made after we make an application as to the process. And apparently there's not much that we can do about that, but we're trying to work within that process. So I appreciate the patience, but it's not that things aren't moving, it's just that, we have to jump through some hoops to get our contract that we need that we can live with. Because we worry about cash flows and making sure that with all these projects that we can, move money, have enough money to pay the bills and keep ourselves afloat. So that's one of the key issues that really keeps us up at night. So just worrying about that. So at least you all don't have to be up, so that's a good thing. And let's see, we talked about Halloween and the event. So we do have our town engineer here with us tonight, and I explained to them that you're on that late meeting that we had with DEP, and so it's, these are things that we're constantly working on, and we do have 3 ordinances that we hope to have ready for your first reading. One of them is clarifying the Code Enforcement Board, the alternate members, where we've, had a resident tell us about the conflict that with state law, and we're correcting that. We also have an ordinance dealing with the drainage on properties under construction. We have one for existing properties and the retainage of water that they have to keep. But that involves not only water, but dirt and debris on construction sites and vacant lots. So that's, they're working on that. And then I forgot the third one again, Susan, I'm sorry, can you help me out?
Sewer connection.
Yes, the septic to sewer, that's one of the things we had to do for DEP, is just, mimic what we've been saying, but, in a ordinance, so we have it here locally. So that's one of the hoops that we'll be jumping through at the next meeting. So, and I think that's it.
Commissioner comments? Commissioner Mayfield?
Yes, I wanted to say thank you to the mayor for pursuing the town goal, or the goals for the town manager. I think that was sometimes a little bit difficult to move it along, but I think it's worthwhile. And thank you for that. And also, I wanted to let my fellow commissioners know that the Treasure Coast Regional League of Cities meeting is October 18th in Stewart, and there's a lunch meeting where everybody is welcome. It's at the Flagler Center at 11:30 is the lunch meeting. So, and I think you're also welcome to go to the board meeting at 10:30, but
Yes.
if you guys want to go.
It's an RSVP, so I just asked that if you let April know, and she'll RSVP for
What
you.
date is that?
October 8th, it's Wednesday, the 18th, at the Flagler Center in Stewart.
And then we also have November
Time?
2nd? That's what I forgot.
11:30 is a lunch,
It's
and then
Leadership Martin,
10:30 is a board
December
meeting.
7th.
December 7th, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. I take that back, thank you.
And that's where?
That's
Palm City.
Palm City, and again, it's an RSVP, so if you just direct your RSVPs to April, she'll make sure that they get in.
Commissioner Campo?
Yeah, I want to thank the mayor too for the performance goals and the extra efforts that took. I think it's good form for future. I wanted to ask the town manager if you reached out to any tree purveyors on how we might be able to spend some proceeds from Heritage. Were you able to talk to anybody about that? Sorry to put
Yes,
you on the
I've got, actually, I'm dealing, not directly, but through an arborist, a different arborist, and so I'm hopefully going to have some information to relay at the next meeting.
Yeah, to me, I still think that that's going to be a good joint presentation to have both those conversations at the same time. Because if it's just about the lot, it's going to be what are you doing with the proceeds? And if we could say, here's our plan, I think it'd be a good combo, so.
Commissioner Fender.
I was just going to commend both Commissioner Campo and the town manager on the Tree Day event this last weekend. I was late to it, but I did make a quick appearance. But I like the idea that you're considering making that a regular occurrence, and I really like your idea of tying in the tree acquisition process to the sale of the lot process as well. So both those are great ideas, and I wish I had more involvement in the Tree Day thing, but I like the idea of tying it in with Arbor Day. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other commission comments?
I do have one other item while we're talking about trees. Unfortunately, we have a dangerous tree that is at Palm and South River Road. We had, during the storms last Monday, we lost a branch off the tree that fell right into the lane. This tree sits in the median, and there's traffic on both sides of it. So it's like a traffic island that's there. It's been there for, the chief was kind of giving me the background on it. The tree has been there since before the homes were built. And it's a beautiful tree. Unfortunately, it hasn't been taken care of, and it is rotted inside, and it's can fall at any time. It's got a lean to it. So we do have an arborist report on it, and I will share that with members of the commission. And so it's one of those things. And we also found one of the trees, which is a ficus tree that's part of our tree canopy that we have, but it's basically a dead tree. You can see it by looking at it. And unfortunately, the roots got attacked by when some construction was
Where is that at?
done. That's it. Is it 71? 71 South, no, South Sewalls Point Road.
Right against the driveway.
And and that one, an arborist came to us to let us know, and so we still have to check on the ownership of the tree and so forth, but that's something that, again, we have to make sure that we have a safe environment too. But I think, as we talked about with the tree fund and the construction of Phase 3, because it's in the Phase 3 area, there's a lot of things that I think we can do to enhance the tree canopy there, and that's what I push for.
It kind of brings up another general question, is that, how many trees do we have out there that are really kind of our responsibility, that are in medians or something like that? Because it'd be nice to know how many fit into that category and what the health of those trees are, because obviously if they're under the responsibility of the town and they fall down and hurt somebody or damage some property, we could be liable. So it'd be nice to know how many there are and what kind of condition they're in.
Well, you can remove that liability pretty easily.
How's that?
Cut them down.
Well, if they're, I'm not suggesting we cut them down unless
No.
they're in bad health.
Just making sure I knew where we were going here.
No, I wasn't suggesting we cut them down, I'm just suggesting that you're talking about this particular tree
Right.
that, collapsed or whatever. Do we have other ones like that that we may be responsible for? That's all I was asking. Commissioner Fender.
Oh, yeah. So I was just going to, I walked my dog next to the tree that had the broken branch. I didn't see the branch.
Dog's fault.
Mostly.
Is that Pete?
I didn't see the branch fall, but I did see the barricades that we put around it, so I scratched my head about it, and I assumed it was something like that. But I just wanted to let you know that there's some history to that tree, because it was saved at one point, and I think former Mayor Thurlow Lippisch drove that cause, so, and I think she lives on that road. So when she gets wind that you're going to replace it, you probably ought to have a plan in place and ready for your mitigation scenario if you intend to take that tree down, because it's some history to that tree. And I kind of agree with you. It's not, to me, the most attractive tree, and it probably should have been,
Good heads up.
Well, thank
Yeah,
God
yeah.
attractiveness doesn't,
Well, I'm just saying that-
have to
that-
get rid of somebody or some tree. but-
that tree will stand there for the next 100 years. I'm less concerned about you guys on being liable for branches and trees falling on people, although it is, an asteroid, it could hit us as well. Probably less riskily, but if you're going to do something, you should have a plan, and you're right. There are going to be some people that have some concerns about what you do with that particular tree just because of its history, and they have already saved it once. I'm just telling you that. And I don't know anything about the 71.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor Kurzman.
Yeah, I did see that tree. I happened to be passing by when I saw the chief and the town manager to get over there. The branch was probably about, am I safe to say it was about this wide? And it was this hollow. The hollow spot was probably about 12 inches in it.
The tree's not healthy. It's a
No,
small
and
piece of land.
it looked very similar to, like, if you saw some of the trees on the lot over there, too.
It's
You
worse
don't
than
know, yeah, it probably was worse than that. But, that tree, I wouldn't want to, let's put it this way, if my car was parked underneath it, I'd move it.
I would just, nobody's going to park their car under it, but I
Yeah.
would say you should be diplomatic in your approach to how you handle
Yes,
it. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's a very old tree.
Do you have anything further?
No, sorry.
If there's no other commissioner comments, I'll hear a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We're adjourned. Thank you.